Hey, what is going on, everybody? My name is Dean, or as most of you know me, Twisty. What we've got today is we did basically a little breakdown of the first test of the cricket between Australia and Pakistan. If you want to see more of these, make sure you let us know in the comments down below. Today I am joined by Goat and Breno. You can see their little pictures there up the top so you know who's talking when. But otherwise, make sure you let us know if you like it or not. Let's get into the actual content here, where we talk all about the first test and everything involved with it. Make sure you leave a like if you enjoy. All right, let's get into the topic of discussion today. So welcome on in everyone in the chat. We will look at your questions maybe a little bit later on, but for now we're just kind of going to go through it is as much of the cricket as we can. So obviously, boys, welcome. The breakdown of today was Australia winning by an innings and 5 runs, got it done in the third session of the day's play. Marnus Labuschagne was, of course, the player of the game. Breno, do you want to give a little bit of an overview about how you saw the game? Australia obviously only needing to bat once throughout the match.
Just another pure display of dominance from them. We kind of expected that we were going to be a stronger side, coming into it, especially after the T20s, and just the fact that we've had a full side and retaining the Ashes, just a few months ago, hot off the heels, we've been good straight off the bat and ready to jump into.
Yeah, and we're always really good at the Gabba too, I suppose is the other thing.
Yeah, that's 30 years in a row now.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
30? Something like that.
Yeah, we looked it up before.
Yeah, 31 years without a loss. I think the last time we lost was 1980 something. But yeah, there has been draws in there as well, but it has mostly been obviously wins throughout that time. I think there might have been 4 draws, so it's really a big sort of advantage for Australia to play at the Gabba. Go, any sort of first thought about at the game? Anything you sort of that stuck out to you before we get into?
Well, it seemed like Pakistan was sort of just holding on at points. They didn't seem to be in the game at any stage. Maybe the first innings, that first session of theirs, they actually they broke that record of us not taking a wicket in the first session. So
yeah,
interesting.
Exactly.
Wasn't much from them apart from the occasional 100.
In here as well. This is the first time in a long time that we've had an opening stand that's been longer than 100 runs.
Longer than bloody 20 runs.
Well, yeah. What was that thing? Runs. It was Gabba opening partnerships. They pretty sure they broke some kind of record in terms of, I think, Warner and Burns together at the Gabba is now Australia's best opening partnership or whatever, in terms of aggregate runs or something, which is even more than, I guess, Hayden and Langer had in terms of their opening partnerships.
Mm.
So, that's still a pretty crazy number. And they've done it in just 3 innings, or three matches, maybe? Was it 3? No, it's 3 innings. Their average partnership at the Gabba is 206.6 between Burns and Warner, and that's a pretty crazy looking number. Especially at the Gabba. So, if India come into it next year, you got Burns and Warner, batting at the Gabba on day one. I think look out, because they're definitely going to be keys. Now let's talk about the man of the moment. Obviously, player of the game, Marnus Labuschagne, 185 from 279 balls, 20 boundaries in there, sprocking at 66. He had a fantastic innings. An absolutely fantastic innings. A little bit jittery at times, but what do you guys think of Labuschagne and he spot at number 3?
He's very good. Considering he only came into the squad because he was meant to come in as a backup leg spinner.
Yeah.
To do what he's done.
Obviously, concussion sub from the Ashes. And
it's good that he's finally gotten that maiden Test 100. He should have got one in England, but oh well. But he played very well, and hopefully he can build upon that in Adelaide.
Yeah, really, what isn't there to like about what he's been doing in the last 6 months? Honestly, he's just been he's honestly been probably the best player in the world. I mean, bar Smith maybe, but just
Oh, come on, Vera's
like,
pretty good. Just made a one day. What was it?
oh,
Day night ton. He's pretty good.
the way that he's been able to come in on a short notice and just whack him around and control the team, basically control the pace. It's just it's a clinic really.
Yes, and Coxie in the chat saying he's got a new nickname, STS, which is what was it? Something to do with
Nice
Smith.
one, boss.
It was like not stingier than Smith. It was like more fidgety, stranger than Smith. That's the nickname, right? Yeah,
that is a nickname.
I knew it was something weird. But yeah, like he's obviously come in. He's been very consistent. He's had all those half centuries without actually getting a breakthrough, and finally to get not only 100 but to go on and make 185. We'll go through our player ratings a little bit later on, but he was obviously our top scorer in that. But yeah, it was just like a super innings from Labuschagne, and I think he's now like obviously we had Khawaja at number 3 for such a long period of time, and now that Labuschagne has come in and he's just like made that spot his own. It's been really good.
Breath of fresh air. Because Khawaja, not that Khawaja's, the worst player to play in that position, but what Marnus has done. Yeah.
He's always struggled a bit, Khawaja. Like, I always felt like he would either have like a really good game or a really bad game.
Yeah, really.
He would never have a consistent sort of block of form.
Yeah, he seems to go year by year. Like, one season he'll have a stonking season, and the next one it'll just be, like a barren desert pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think he's now cemented at number 3 for, I don't know, at least a year, right?
He definitely has a potential, but his form at the moment, like not necessarily a playing form, but the way that he faces up and just, gets focused, it's just lost at the moment.
He's very, very good. Alright, so obviously that's Labuschagne obviously the key for Australia. What about from a Pakistan point of view? They showed glimpses in their second innings. They started off the test match in ripping form. It looked like they were in control on day one at the end of that first session, as we all saw. They did not lose a wicket in that first session. I think they were like none for 75 or something before, after they lost that first wicket. They lost 4 for 3. 4 for 3 from that first wicket, from none for 75 to 4 for 78. Even 5 for 94 if I guess you want to go that far. But they looked good early, and then since then it sort of all fell apart. Like, what did you guys think from that point of view?
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Glimpses. That first innings, they lasted for 32 overs, and then they only ended up batting for 86, so like 54 more overs after that. So that was pretty disappointing on their behalf. Was their high scorer Shafiq
in that first innings?
Yeah, 76, and then everyone else was pretty.
Yeah, I wondered if they'll have any sort of changes in that top order. I thought maybe in my Cricket 19 video, I had Imam al-Haq opening with Azhar Ali, and then I had Masood at 3. I wonder if maybe they'll drop Azhar Ali down to 3 and bring Imam al-Haq back to open, because Haris Sohail, I think the best thing he did all test match was take 2 wickets, because he made 9 runs across his 2 innings. So that's obviously a position that they'll probably have to look at in terms of will they get any more out of them in that second or in that next test match, or has the bubble burst? I suppose. Would there be?
I'd like to see Safraz come back in, maybe just as a fielder and a top order batsman, or mid top order batsman. I think that especially for the day night match, they played a few day night matches in the UAE a few months ago, and he seemed to do all right there, but I don't know what they were doing with this.
Yeah, the other one I guess that didn't really perform with the bat was Fixkar Ahmed, just the 7 in the first innings and didn't make a run in the second innings. So yeah, I think they'll have to really think about their batting. I'm not going to say that they'll make too many rash decisions based off sort of one match, but given there is only 2 games in the series, whether or not they'll give them a crack in Adelaide. We'll have to wait and see, I suppose.
Yeah, that middle order seems a bit disorganised.
Yeah, other than, I guess, Babarazan.
Baba
and Rizwan was obviously very, very good in that second innings as well.
Just
Probably
should
have made 100, I feel.
Yeah, he should have.
Even in the first innings, he got a quick, what was about 37 off 30?
Yeah, he was probably one of the only ones that was really attacking the ball after that little mini collapse. He looked good. What was it, 37 from 34.
Yeah,
7 fours.
Oh, was that the no ball that wasn't the no ball that got him out? I feel like it was.
No, was it Hazelwood that balled that?
No, I think it was Cummins. I think it was Rizwan in that first innings.
It was Cummins.
Oh, okay.
Which, it totally looked like a no ball for all money, and you're like, you can try and argue it every which way, and I was pretty sure that there was no way they were going to give that not a no ball. And then they just gave it home team advantage of out. Which, it was, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, it was like there's like millimeter in it, like either way. But it didn't look like it was anything other than a no ball.
Yeah. I don't think old mate will be up in the box in the next test.
Yeah.
He'll probably have a break.
Yes.
I'm not sure who the third umpire was there, but
it's Michael Goff, I think. Yeah, maybe.
Strange. All right. So that's sort of Pakistan and their batting. You don't really need to talk about that too much. Let's keep talking about Australia. Another guy who found himself, who was never out of form, was just out of runs by his words. David Warner made 154 runs in this match, made 95 runs across the entire 10 innings of the Ashes. Warner at Australia is a happy combination.
Yeah, that's it. It's just Australia. He owns Australia pretty much. Him and Smith.
People will say he's a flat track bully and whatnot, but I mean, you've got to perform wherever you go, and if you're at home, you still have to perform. Like, what would he be called if he did the same in Australia? He'd just be called, bad or whatever.
Yeah. I think the other thing of it is like, there was even a lot of Australian supporters going, why is Warner such a lock for this first test? His form going in was obviously horrible off the back of the Ashes, averaged under 10 in that series. And you look at it and you go, all right, look, he's got 21 test hundreds. Like, let's sort of back him in. And off the back of his really strong 2020 form, he's now come in and made 154 in his one inning so far. Probably could have even made more, other than, sort of that ripping ball from the young Naseem Shah, or less, depending on which way you look at it. Was out on a no ball. I don't know how many runs he was on at the time. A bit of luck falling his way.
It's the second time in, 2 years?
3, yeah.
End of 2017, I think, or end of 2016. Tom or Sam Curran, one of the two.
Yeah, I think it was Tom Curran who was bowling that one.
The Boxing Day test.
Yeah.
That was a 99, so it's a touch different 56, but still.
Yeah.
But
voice sounds like
he
even
did well.
deeper than before.
Who, me?
Yeah.
It's probably this mine. It's the headset.
Yeah, that's...
It's weird. Let me...
Sounds like a filter or something.
So Warner back in form. Do we need to worry about him at all anymore? Any of his any issues for him? Any demons, or are they all gone? Is he now going to be top quality batsman for the rest of this summer?
Yeah, I think he'll just be the standard that he's always normally been in Australia. He's always been good here.
Okay.
Is my voice going back to normal, or is it still?
Definitely not.
What the hell?
It's almost as if you've got like a voice changer. All right, well, we're going to press on while you work out your stuff. Obviously, the guy got him out, young 16-year-old Naseem Shah, only bowled the 20 overs throughout Australia's innings. We don't know whether he was just really sore, which chances are he was, only a young 16-year-old, but only 20 overs over 157.4 overs of the innings. Took the wicket of David Warner, which was the key breakthrough at the time when Warner and Labuschagne were both in ripping nick. Australia were then 2 for 151 when he took that wicket. What do you think of his bowling, Breno?
Well, I would be scared shitless if he rocked up to my under-16s match one weekend. I would quit.
Yeah, bowling 145
Yeah,
is
145 at 16. It's stupid, but he's definitely looks like he's got a bright future. Once he builds up that stamina, I think he's going to be a weapon, a lethal blade to the neck. Some would say.
Yeah, he was. I actually thought he looked pretty good, especially that spell where he got Warner out. He was bowling,
Absolutely.
really quick, really good short stuff, and it looked like that's obviously the type of stuff you need to bowl in Australia to get wickets. And I think he did that really, really well.
I think his average speed was 143 on the second day or something like that. It was stark levels of sort of pace that he was able to maintain over a long period of time.
Yeah, it's
a bit of
pretty
a
great.
shame that we didn't get to see him on day 3. I think it was only for
Yeah, I think in the
how's my voice
overs
now?
or something.
better.
Yeah,
and it's even better, not better, but even more amazing that I think when he first came to Australia to play against Australia A, pretty sure his mother passed away the day he came in. Yeah. So that's to, have the courage to stay in Australia and, debut. That's pretty good on his behalf.
Yeah. What I do find fascinating is the whole no ball debate, right? Like, so he bowls one no ball for the whole 20 overs he's gone, and it just so happens to be the wicket ball. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
either are the umpires just like not paying attention, because there's always like there's obviously so many that go unmissed. And there's actually been a fair bit of debate about it this week as to whether or not you get rid of the no ball like entirely, as in just don't show it on TV if it's wrong, or you just automate the whole system. I was actually listening to the radio earlier this week, and there was like an ex-cricketer who was on, I don't know, it might have been SEN or something I was listening to, and they were saying that they've been developing all this technology to put like a chip in the bowler's shoe, which would then line up with something on the pitch, and it would like automate this whole no ball fiascos that we didn't need to worry about it at all. Like,
that's terrible.
So you would not want automated no balls?
I don't like it.
Yeah,
because everything would need to be checked. You know what I mean? Like, if there is a wrong decision, it would always need to be video checked by someone else anyway. So unless they're going to do that every single ball, I don't know whether it's just it might not be a viable option.
I know
this just be like DRS all over again. Like, people are gonna have gripes with it and issues.
India would not like that. That's a bit too high tech for the ICC.
I actually feel like India definitely would be like, no, we're not going to use that. Just because they're always 3 or 4 years behind the curve. Well, not necessarily behind the curve, but they're just very reluctant to change
adapt
the ways that they've been going on about things.
Yeah, I can see why they don't want to, but yeah.
All right. What about Steve Smith, gentlemen? 4 runs. The first time ever in his career that he has been the lowest run scorer in an Australian innings. Yes. Every single player outscored him, including all the bowlers at the bottom end. I think Hazelwood made 5 and Stark made 5, just to pip him by 1 run.
I reckon we should sack him. Get rid of him.
I think this is arguably the best thing that could have happened to Australia in this match, is that Steve Smith did absolutely nothing. Because it just means there was so much talk about the over-reliance on Steve Smith. Smith has to make his 120 to 230 runs per match if Australia are any chance, especially of beating like a top-tier team. And while Pakistan, yes, they got a very young bowling attack, they're still got some pretty good players. It's still an international level game. But for Steve Smith to do nothing and really do, and the rest of the team does well, I think it's obviously really cool.
I'm just very confused. Like, I know what we must have been like on 250 odd or something by the time he come in, but I'm just struggling to understand. Like, was he coming out of the gate playing attacking? It's a very strange shot. It was one of his,
the shot selection on it was very bizarre,
and there was no footwork at all. It was just very confusing.
Yeah.
But
it had to be all mental. I reckon he just came in and was coming up against Naseem Shah, and
It's a
That's
bit
the
like
seventh
Babar in the first innings. I think his ego sort of got the better of him. He thought, "Oh, we're up by 250. I might as well go and have a hit." You know?
Yeah, so when he came in, Australia were 2 for 351. So it wasn't necessarily as if they needed him to do anything at the time. They were already 70 runs ahead of the game. There's still plenty of batting to come. So yeah, maybe a little bit of a false shot, but look, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think it'll almost press him on to make 300 in the day nighter at Adelaide.
Like you said before, it's good that we don't have to rely on Smith.
We
rely on Marnus now. So
exactly.
Marnus and Warner.
Yes.
The new Smith and Marnus.
Yeah, so pretty much he didn't do anything for the entirety of the match, which is great for Australia. Some people who did do something though. Australia's bowlers took 20 wickets throughout the innings, 18 of those between the quickies, Stark, the leading wicket taker, which may surprise
First time
some
in
people.
a long time.
Yeah, so he took 7, Hazelwood took 6, Cummins took 5, and Nathan Lyon took 2 between them. Do you think this means Mitchell Stark retains his spot for the Adelaide Day Nighter? Or does
Definitely
Pattinson come in?
Pattinson's ban, or didn't he get a...
I think it was just one game.
Just a one, yeah.
Oh, one game, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But if he was to do something else now, he would get a pretty lengthy ban.
I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
I
that's
don't
obvious.
see why they would take him out. I mean, seems to be doing all right. Like, I don't
especially
want him to leave.
Yeah, no, I reckon he'll be very good with the pink ball.
Mm.
He historically has been as well.
Yeah,
That first innings as well, I was very impressed by Mitch Stark, because a lot of the time we see Stark and we can get caught up, I guess, in the wickets column, but his economy can be a bit all over the shop, which in the second innings it leaked a little bit more. He went at 4.5 runs and over in that second innings, but his first innings, very, very good bowling. Went at 2.8 economy, which was, is pretty good for Mitch Stark considering his radar can be all over the shop at times. But I think Australia just looked like a settled team. I thought Hazelwood probably bowled the best of everyone. Cummins was very, very good as well. So even though Stark was, the number one wicket taker, I probably still had him as the third best seamer for the match.
Yeah,
he just got a lot of the reward.
Got the most wickets, but he's still, far too inconsistent. Spraying him down leg and whatnot over the top.
Yeah.
Nathan Lyon, his 2-wicket display. His second wicket was very important. He did get Bubba out.
Babra's arm, yeah.
Yeah, because he was looking like he was going to hang around for a little bit. So that was timely.
And I think Lyon traditionally is very, very good in Adelaide. I know we've seen him.
He used to be the curator, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did, didn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He was a groundsman there.
What a man. What a man.
Yeah, so obviously, nothing to really worry about from Australian point of view with Lyon. Naseem Shah, I think he took the most wickets for Pakistan. I think he took 4 or something. So, but he went for 200 runs. So let's not go into too much detail about that one. Someone had to take their wickets. So are we locking those 4 in for next test? You reckon?
Absolutely, yeah. There's no reason to change them.
Easy does it. Let's go through the player ratings now. We'll go through Pakistan first. These are my player ratings. If you guys have any problems with them, you can let me know about them.
Yes.
So we'll go from lowest to highest. I gave Ifikta Ahmed a 1. He made 7 runs. Didn't do too much else. I gave Parasale a 1.5 because he took 2 wickets. But again, he did nothing with the bat, which is, what he's in for the side for. I gave the captain, Azhar Ali, a 3. I thought, obviously he wasn't that good with the bat, but his captaincy was pretty good towards the second half of the tournament, of the test.
Yeah.
Of the tournament. Shafiq, Masood, and Imran Khan, I gave them 5 each. Because obviously they had sort of like 1-ish good innings between them. Imran Khan's bowling wasn't anything special. I gave the young man on debut a 6 because I thought toiled hard, bowled well, got the big wicket of Warner
Pressure.
at the time. You know.
We love you, MARNY,
Oh my
we do.
God. Jesus, someone has done something with text-to-speech, and I had no idea. It just came through. Thank you, whoever did that. Scared the shit out of me. So I gave Naseem Shah 6, because I thought he bowled pretty well. And then I gave 7 each to Shaheen Afridi, who I thought was Pakistan's best bowler for them. I thought he charged in hard every day. If they had to bowl, Yasir Shah gave him 7 as well, because, you know, he took 4 wickets, toiled very hard. I think he bowled, I don't know, 40-something overs. What did he bowl? 48 overs, so almost bowled 50 overs. Like, that's a hell of an effort as well. And then I gave Rizwan and Barazam 7 each.
That was me, Dino
Yeah,
Jack.
there was a bit of infighting with the Pakistanis. Or the former Pakistanis. Akram blamed Muhammad Amir's premature retirement on Pakistan's pace attack being so depleted. So that was interesting to hear.
Well, see, I don't think it is that.
Yeah, who was the one that they thought should have played? It was Muhammad Abbas. Like, obviously they thought he probably should have played.
Him in for Adelaide. He's a big
Yeah.
hooper that he can do. He played in that day-night test at the Gabba a while back, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I think the surprise selection was Shaheen Afridi, but because he played very well in the Australia A game, he ended up coming in here. And I actually thought he was their best bowler. So I'd expect him to play. Maybe Imran Khan's the one that... or was Imran Khan the one that was the surprise selection? I can't really remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think it might have been Imran Khan. Shaheen Afridi's been a pretty he's staple of the side for about a year now.
Okay, well, yeah, I think maybe Imran Khan doesn't play, or Naseem Shah if he can't back it up, just because he might be young, his body might just not be able to, I guess, recover from that sort of a game. All right, gentlemen,
All right, here we go.
let's go through the Australian rankings.
And
see what I've done. I gave Steve Smith a 1 for the one catch he took. Okay, Steve Smith a 1 for the one catch he took, which I think was the first wicket of the match. I think he took the first catch.
Well, you see, I'm going to bump him up for a 2 on my behalf there.
You're going to give him a 2.
That's pretty important. That was a big stand, that first partnership. You know?
Yeah, but he took the catch. It wasn't like he bowled the delivery.
Oh, he could have dropped the catch, and they could have still been batting today. You'll never know. But yeah, didn't perform at his best.
He is still helping out Tim, or helping out. He's backing up Tim Payne well.
Yeah,
That's the role he is, which
he's
is
the captain without the armband.
Sure.
Yeah.
No.
So Steve Smith was my lowest scoring Australian, with obviously just the 4 runs there, and the one catch, obviously important, the one catch. I gave Travis Head 3 for his 24 runs. Obviously disappointed he would have missed out there. He was starting to look okay.
Unfortunate.
But yeah, like obviously didn't bowl at all. Just he's there as a sole batsman. Only got to bat once, so I guess if he batted and made 24 twice, probably would have given him a 5, I suppose. But just the 3 for him there. Tim Payne, I gave him a 4. Maybe should have given him a 5. I thought his captaincy was actually not too bad in this game.
He didn't have any stuff-ups with the DRS, did he?
Yeah, there was no, just random dumb reviews.
Yes.
There was one he did miss. I can't recall who it was. It was quite early. It wasn't anything too important. I think it might have been Mohammad Rizwan, but it was soon before he got out.
Right. So yeah, I thought he was okay. I gave him a 4.
A lot of behinds, obviously.
Yeah, he took a few catches, I suppose. Yeah, I mean that's what the keeper's there for. I gave a Nathan Lyon a 6. I didn't think he bowled that well. Like he obviously toiled very well.
Yeah.
Only getting the 2 wickets as reward, but he bowled okay without being anything special. There wasn't. I always feel like when I'm watching the cricket, Nathan Lyon's bowling and Shane Warnie's commentating. Warnie's always like, he needs to bowl slower, and then as soon as he does, he looks dangerous. So I trust Shane Warne because he only took 708 test wickets. So Nathan Lyon for Adelaide, bowl slower. But you know you're bowling better than anyone, I suppose. So Nathan Lyon gave him a 6.
I reckon Moeen knows it pretty well.
I gave Matty Wade a 6 as well. It's 1 point for every 10 runs he scored. He scored 60 runs. Probably could have got a 7. I think maybe we'll bump that up to a 7 now for Matthew Wade. He also probably missed out, got out really trying to invent a shot that wasn't really there. Got himself out for 60, which obviously a little bit disappointing.
Hit the first 6 of the summer.
Yes, the only Australian to hit a 6. Was there any 6s in the Pakistan innings? No, so there was the only 6 of the match hit by Matthew Wade. And it was a cracking shot down the ground. Use effect was very good. Mitch Stark, Australia's leading wicket taker, I gave him 7 as well for the 7 wickets that he took. And it wasn't just cleaning up the tail either. In both innings he got out at least one of the top 3 batsmen. And then I guess he finished the tail. He finished the tail off at the first innings and
in a row, rather. Yeah.
Yes. Then I gave Hazelwood and Cummins 8 each. Thought they were easy. They were our best pace bowlers while they didn't necessarily get all the reward. I thought they were very, very good. Yep, no arguments there. I gave Joe Burns an 8. Would have given him a 9 had he made a ton. Very, very well batted. So disappointed. It was... Sweep shot wasn't really... I suppose it was.
Oh, he was 100% baited into it. 100% baited.
Yes. Did he chop it on? Or like...
Yeah, he glove.
Bottom edge or glove? Yeah. Oh. So disappointed for Joe Burns. Out for 97.
Our 3 openers.
Our top 3. They all had 100. That would have been great. So I gave him 8. David Warner gave him a 9 for his 154. Obviously, very, very special time because obviously hadn't made a significant score in Test cricket since the whole saga that went down about almost 18 months ago now. I feel, and then player of the game Marnus Labuschagne gave him a 9.5. He lost that 0.5 from the pies he was bowling and the minus 15 runs, the lack of double ton. If he gets the 200, he gets a 10, but
and the awful
just a tiny little bit to be decided there. Any arguments there, gentlemen?
That's a pretty good list. I'm happy with that.
Just the Smith, really.
Just the one. Give him a 2.
It is really. That is really harsh, but yeah.
In post, I'll overlay the actual ratings on at this point of the video so you can see what our actual ratings were. Alright. Anything else you guys want to add about that first Gabba test match?
I know, I just saw what we can talk about next, so no, not really. Nothing to do with that test.
I do think I like the Tim Payne set quite a few aggressive fields in there in the mix, and I'd like to see that from because in England it was very defensive, very sort of taking a back seat to sort of Smith, in a sense. But it was good to see him sort of setting some aggressive fields and going out there and playing to the Gabba deck, really.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'd say he learned his lesson after that Ben Stokes innings.
Yeah, I almost feel like that is now means he's only going to review certain decisions now, which is good because obviously that was a very panicked decision at the time and did end up coming back to cost him a little bit later on in that game. All right, so Australia won that Gabba Test match by an innings and 5 runs in clinical fashion. Now we're going to move on. We're going to talk very briefly here about the Adelaide Test. So the day-nighter, it begins on the Friday this week is the first day, 2 o'clock or 2:30, I think Melbourne time, because it's 2 o'clock local time in Adelaide.
Yeah, half an hour behind.
When it kicks off on Friday the 29th of November. First things first, any changes for Australia? I can't really see any. Nothing jumps out at me. I think all the bowlers did their role, all the batsmen.
Yeah, I can't see any.
We made 600 runs or whatever. We made 5 80, so very difficult to see anyone getting dropped there.
Yeah, I think Wade was also probably Wade and Head were the only sort of ones in question, but I think Wade's secured his 6th spot now. So
and then I reckon it's worth giving Head the opportunity on his home soil.
I feel like when I feel like they're not going to change the squad anyway, at least until the New Zealand the New Zealand series comes around. If they were going to give a different batsman a crack. But
so when was this New Zealand? When's that first test?
Let me have a little look. See here.
12th
of December.
Boxing
So it's still there's like a little.
Yeah.
It's like a 10-day gap between day 5
So
and the
they
second
wouldn't bother
test.
resting anyone? Probably not.
New Zealand.
maybe
No, I feel like
Stark,
they'll be right.
Maybe, who knows?
I guess if anyone pulls up with anything or whatever, but
Yeah, he did
Didn't
roll
seem
his
to.
ankle today, but it was just a
Yeah.
minor thing.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they still got a 4-day gap between now and day 1, so I
that's
wouldn't
probably
think
the
they're
only
gonna-
change I could see happening would be Stark, but even then you want to
for
see him
Pattinson,
in there. Yeah, for Pattinson.
Like,
But, yeah.
do you think
It's
Nisa?
not like it's not a needed one, but it's a possible.
Mm.
I mean, I'd like to see Nisa come in. We just need a pitch for him because at the moment we don't have a need for a 5th or a fourth quick.
Mm.
Like-
Yeah, especially
But-
because they don't have an all-rounder either. Like, it's not as if we've got another seamer. Like, we obviously saw Smith's not going to bowl ever again,
Even
by the
the-
sounds of things, and Labuschagne's going to be
Labuschagne.
out. Although Smith bowled 1 over, didn't he? In the first innings, he did.
6
Yeah.
runs.
What over
Um,
a full burners.
Yeah, they were just over of pies, really. Surprised they didn't go for more. But yeah, Labuschagne's obviously going to be our part-timer, I think, going forward anyway, if you need to get overs in. And I guess even Head can bowl some off-tweakers if required. So we probably think that Australia Lever's going to say the same. What about Pakistan? We're going to put it out there. We don't know as much about them
Yeah,
as we do about the Aussie
Pakistan depth, but
I mean, as I said earlier, I'd like to see Safraz come back in for a middle order bat, maybe push everyone up a little bit. But
yeah, and maybe Muhammad Abbas,
is what
the
it
other
is.
one that probably comes
Yeah.
in for them. Because he's someone I think who can swing the ball a bit more, and that's generally what you need, especially in a day-night test. You've got to take advantage
Under
of that
lights,
evening session, where you can really swing that ball and get a lot of stuff done. But who wins? Who wins in Adelaide?
Australia.
And why?
Australia, yeah.
Well,
We've played
I think-
3 day-nighters in Adelaide, I think, and we've convincingly won most of them.
yeah.
Oh, all of them. rather.
It's our fast bowling, our pace bowling just seems to be too good at the moment. Will get us over the line, I reckon.
Yeah.
Especially with the pink ball.
Always,
Yeah.
as usual, picking up the slack from the batters.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. As the dog in the background barking does as well. Okay. So yeah, I think Australia are going to win in Adelaide as well, and I think they're going to probably win relatively convincingly. Although I feel like Pakistan, if they start the next game like they started the first session, like it's going to be in for a fight. I don't think they're going to make the same mistakes as they did at the Gabba. I just think Australia. I think is just going to be too good. But
Yeah.
They were also quite messy in the field. There were quite a few chances where they should have probably been tidier. So that's probably something they need to work on as well. Switch on for the Adelaide test.
Cool. All right, everybody. That is it for our little cricket podcasty type thing. We're probably going to do this for every test. We'll wait and see. This is sort of like a trial on whether or not people like it or not.
We'll have to see.
We will have to see. Australia won the first test of the summer against Pakistan at the Gabba. And they go up 1-0 in this 2-game series, which I believe means that they retain whatever trophy or whatever was on the line. Did we
I saw the
previously
trophy the
hold
other
that?
day, but I'm
It's
not
like
sure
a big,
what the name
it's like a big bowl or a big
Yeah, it
plate.
is. Yeah, it's a bit like the. I was going to say the A-League trophy, but there's a more toilet seat.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they call it.
Righto. All right. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you leave a comment down below telling us you enjoyed this. If you want to, to see more. So that's going to be our thing that we'll look at going forward. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you all next time, maybe, depending on whether you like it or not.